Have you ever seen a movie so packed with suspense, cleverness, and sheer guts that you're on the edge of your seat for nearly 3 hours? Well, today we're diving into one of the all-time classics of that very description, the 1963 epic, The Great Escape. This isn't just a war movie. It's a masterful story of human spirit, ingenuity, and the unbreakable will to be free. Based on a true story, it chronicles one of the most audacious and meticulously planned prison escapes in history. The film is set in the heart of World War II, at Stalag Luft 3, a brand new, high-security prisoner of war camp built by the German Luftwaffe. This isn't just any camp. It's designed to be escape-proof. The German commandant, Colonel von Luger, proudly tells the senior British officer, Group Captain Ramsey, that this camp was built to hold all the rotten eggs in one basket. In other words, every Allied officer who has a history of escaping from other camps has been transferred here. They're the best of the best when it comes to breaking out, and the Germans think they've finally found a cage that can hold them. But they've seriously underestimated their prisoners. Instead of being deterred, these men see it as the ultimate challenge. The idea quickly forms, not just to have 1 or 2 men escape, but to break out 250 men all at once. The goal isn't just freedom for themselves. It's to create absolute chaos behind enemy lines. A mass escape of this scale would force the German army to divert thousands of troops from the front lines to hunt them down, causing a massive disruption to their war effort. Leading the whole operation is the brilliant and composed RAF squadron leader Roger Bartlett, played by the legendary Richard Attenborough. Bartlett is known to the Gestapo as Big X. He's the master organizer, the architect of this grand, almost insane plan. He's been captured after multiple escape attempts and has been warned by the Gestapo that if he's caught again, he'll be shot. But that doesn't stop him. He gathers his officers, the specialists who will make this escape possible. Each man has a crucial role. There's Lieutenant Commander Eric Ashley Pitt, the dispersal expert, who figures out how to get rid of all the dirt from the tunnels without being noticed. Flight Lieutenant Sandy McDonald is the intelligence guy, gathering information and keeping tabs on the guards. Flight Lieutenant Griffith is the tailor, in charge of creating civilian clothes from scraps of blankets and old uniforms. Flight Lieutenant Dennis Cavendish is the surveyor, mapping out the tunnels. And then there's Flight Lieutenant Danny Walensky, played by Charles Bronson, the Tunnel King. He's a Polish officer who's claustrophobic but is paradoxically the best digger they have. He has an almost obsessive drive to dig his way to freedom. To pull off this massive undertaking, they decide to dig not 1, but 3 tunnels simultaneously. They're code-named Tom, Dick, and Harry. The idea is that if the guards find one, the men can immediately switch their efforts to another. The tunnels are an incredible feat of engineering. They're dug 30 feet underground to avoid sound detectors, and they're shored up with bedboards scavenged from the prisoners' bunks. They even have a little railway system to move dirt, and a ventilation system made from old milk cans. As the digging progresses, the film introduces us to its most iconic character, Captain Virgil Hiltz, the Cooler King, played by Steve McQueen. Hiltz is the quintessential American rebel. He's cocky, independent, and has a habit of trying to escape on his own, which constantly lands him in solitary confinement or the cooler. While the British officers are all about teamwork and precision, Hiltz is a lone wolf. Bartlett tries to recruit him for the big escape, but Hiltz is skeptical. He'd rather just hop the fence. Hiltz's job becomes crucial. He and another American Goff deliberately get caught trying to escape so they can map out the immediate area around the camp while they being escorted back. It's a high-risk mission, but it provides vital intelligence. Hiltz's repeated trips to the cooler become a running gag, where he's always seen bouncing a baseball against the wall, a symbol of his unbreakable spirit. The camp is a hive of activity, all happening right under the guards' noses. There's a forgery department run by Flight Lieutenant Colin Blythe, the forger, played by Donald Pleasence. He's a gentle soul and an expert at creating flawless fake passports and travel documents. But as the escape date nears, he starts to go blind from the detailed work in poor light. It's a tragic development that adds a layer of deep humanity to the story. Another key player is the American, Lieutenant Henley, the Scrounger, played by James Garner. Henley is charming and resourceful. He can get anything the escape committee needs, from cameras to chocolate to identity cards, by bribing and manipulating one of the German guards named Werner. Henley is tasked with being the guide for the now blind forger, Colin Blythe, a promise he makes that will have profound consequences later on. The tension builds as they get closer to completion. The Germans are always snooping around. There's a terrifying moment on the 4th of July when the Americans are brewing potato moonshine. The guards burst in for a surprise inspection, and they almost discover the entrance to Tunnel Tom. Through quick thinking and a bit of luck, the prisoners manage to hide it just in time. But later, the Germans do find Tom during a random search, forcing the team to abandon it and put all their effort into Harry. Finally, the night of the escape arrives. The plan is to get 250 men through Tunnel Harry, which is supposed to surface in the woods beyond the camp fence. The men get into their civilian disguises and wait for their turn. But disaster strikes almost immediately. The tunnel comes up short. Instead of reaching the safety of the woods, it surfaces in an open field, just a few feet from a guard tower. This changes everything. The escape has to be done in near total silence and with perfect timing between the guard patrols. The number of men who can get out is drastically reduced. One by one, they crawl out of the tunnel and make a desperate dash for the trees. But the process is slow and nerve-wracking. Then one man makes a noise and is spotted. The alarm sounds and chaos erupts. In the end, only 76 men manage to get out before the escape is discovered. The second half of the movie becomes a thrilling chase across Germany. We follow several groups of escapees as they try to reach neutral territory in Switzerland, Spain, or Sweden. Danny and his friend Willie, the other tunnel king, manage to row down a river and almost make it to a seaport before being caught. Sedgwick, the manufacturer who made the digging tools, steals a bicycle and then hops a train to France, where he's helped by the French resistance, and eventually makes it to Spain. The most famous sequence belongs to Hiltz, the Cooler King. He steals a German military motorcycle and leads his pursuers on one of the most iconic chase scenes in cinema history. He jumps fences, outsmarts patrols, and shows off his incredible riding skills. His final attempt to jump a massive barbed wire fence into Switzerland is breathtaking. He revs the engine, speeds towards the border, and makes the incredible leap, but gets tangled in the wire and is recaptured. The most heartbreaking stories are those of Bartlett and Henley. Bartlett and his intelligence officer, MacDonald, are recognized by a Gestapo agent at a train station and arrested. Henley and the blind forger, Blythe, steal a small airplane to fly to Switzerland. It's a beautiful, hopeful moment, but the plane's engine fails and they crash land. Blythe is shot and killed by German soldiers, and Henley is recaptured, his promise to get his friend to safety tragically broken. The film's ending is somber and powerful. Of the 76 men who escaped, only 3 make it to freedom. The Gestapo, furious at the humiliation, rounds up 50 of the recaptured officers, including Bartlett and many of the key planners. They drive them to a remote field and murder them, claiming they were shot while trying to escape. In the final scene, Hiltz is brought back to Stalag Luft 3 and thrown into the cooler once again. The new camp commandant asks him, "It looks like you're going to be with us for the rest of the war." But as the door slams shut, we hear that familiar sound, the thud of a baseball against the wall. It's a powerful symbol that even in defeat, the spirit of defiance is not broken. The Great Escape is more than just an action-packed adventure. It's a tribute to the real-life heroes who planned and executed this incredible feat. It celebrates their courage, their teamwork, and their relentless desire for freedom against impossible odds. The cast is a who's who of 1960s movie stars, and their performances are unforgettable. It's a story of both triumph and tragedy, reminding us of the incredible sacrifices made during the war. If you haven't seen it, you are truly missing out on one of the greatest films ever made. It's a timeless classic that continues to inspire and entertain audiences decades later. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into a cinema classic, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Let me know in the comments what you think of The Great Escape. See you next time.